again with a super duper exciting update on my Waterbox 220 gallon reef tank. In my last tank update video, I told you guys how I was pretty unhappy with the way that my tank has been looking recently. When starting this tank, I really envisioned a nice, clean sandbed look, but alas, I have gathered quite a collection of random corals on my sandbed. It was a really messy look, y'all, a really messy look. And I was just down in the dumps feeling like my vision for my tank wasn't really coming together. Well guys, we've made tons of changes since my last update video. Not only did I do a little bit of rearranging of the corals, but I also added these pretty awesome light covers. Yeah, that's right, that's a look. If you're new here, hello, howdy, hi, my name is Stephanie and I make silly videos documenting my journey in the reef tank keeping hobby. So if you're also silly and like the reef tanks, make sure to hit that subscribe right now. So last time I showed you guys this tank, the sandbed was just an absolute wreck. Random corals were placed everywhere, just everywhere. I mean, some zoas were chilling on the sandbed for months. This random coral, a bunch of Rasta hammer colonies, the miscellaneous zoa slash recordia slash clove polyps rock, you know, giant Duncan colony just chilling, anemones wandering about to their own accord. You get the point. It was just really messy. And I knew before I would ever become, you know, semi-content with my tank, I needed to make some changes. And changes were made, y'all. Changes were made. First off, I knew that massive Duncan colony had got to go. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of Duncan corals. They grow super duper fast and they kind of just get in the way of things. I mean, I don't exactly hate them. I mean, they have their pretty moments and they add a lot of movement to the tank, which is really nice, but the growth, y'all, this Duncan colony was just too big. So I have moved it to the back of the right aquascape structure, and in this way I don't have to see it anymore. I'm just joking, sort of, but I do feel like it adds a lot more depth to the tank, you know, like the corals are just trailing off in the distance. Honestly, it was just too big to do much else with. I also had a lot of random Rasta hammer colonies pretty much scattered all over. Where to place them without getting rid of them all together was kind of difficult. I mean, I already have a lot of hammer situation going on my aquascape already, and this aquascape has a lot of limited real estate, you know? So I decided to add more rock. I know, pretty crazy. Totally not me. I'm not big on adding more rock, but, you know, I decided to add more rock here next to the little anemone tower so that they have their own little perches. And I kind of like this and I kind of don't at the same time. I mean, it's cool because it adds more depth to the tank, and I like that it's like all the same coral and makes this kind of trailing coral bush, you know? But at the same time, I feel like it takes away from some of the unique shape of the left aquascape structure. I don't know, what do you guys think of the look? Let me know in the comments, because I'm not really too sure about it. The other corals on the sandbed, I kind of just neatened up and placed them towards the back pretty much, kind of just hid them, you know, stuffed them away. Still have to move that darn anemone rock though. I mean, I really hate trying to move anemones though. They can be so annoying. You know, you gotta turn the flow off, you know, hold them down in place, pray to all the gods that they actually like the new spot, or you're gonna end up with this whole tumbleweed situation, anemones all over the tank, just floating around and around like they're in a washing machine. It's a whole mission, you know? But I really don't like how they're kind of just off to the side. They are. I would like to get them closer to the aquascape for a more neater look, but just hope they don't start climbing on the scape, because that would be bad. I also initially wanted to move this green plating guy here in the corner of the tank too, which is kind of grown on the glass, but it also happens to be my royal grandma's home. However, some of y'all said not to move it because the royal grandma would be so sad. So I'll have y'all know, don't worry, I actually listened. The royal grandma is happy and thanks you for your suggestions, because his home is safe. It's not by the anemone rock. But yeah, still have many changes to make to the coral layout. I mean, I definitely need to frag some of these corals down ASAP. The Duncan on my aquascape, again, like Duncans do, has grown enormous. It's stinging my poor frog spawn, which I'm not very happy about. So definitely have to frag this guy out. I mean, what do you think you're doing, buddy? I don't know. Anyway, I swear I'm gonna end up with like this whole Duncan empire back behind this aquascape. If anyone wants some free Duncans, please get them off my hands, because I swear this is just too much Duncan. Also, the hammers are growing too spicy as well, and they've been sticking my poor Ghani. So these guys have to be cut down a bit too. I'm not happy. When the stinging starts, I'm not happy. Speaking of Ghani though, remember my beautiful beloved red colony of Ghani? Well guys, I have some good news and I have some bad news, okay? Bad news is that the other day it started to recede all of a sudden. I don't know exactly what happened, but it looked like it had been stung by something, which could have been due to one or two culprits. Okay, either the now overgrown hammer garden stinging it at night, quite possible, or my bubble tip anemone, which has been moving around like crazy recently until it finally accepted its pillar, but that's of recently, right? Whether it was stung by the hammer garden or the adventurous anemone, either way, it was receding fast, and I mean fast. So I had to spring into action, and do a Cipro dip. Ciprofloxacin dip is basically just an antibacterial and antibiotic treatment that helps remove bacteria, which is good. Gonipora, once stung, they tend to recede really fast due to the exposed flesh, and you will lose the entire colony if you don't act quickly. So I fragged off the stung part, did a little Cipro dip, and popped it on the sand for a recovery. And y'all, she bounced back. The Ghani actually bounced back. Polyps are out and happy and everything. I was so worried, y'all. You have no idea. Planning to pop it back in its original place and just keep an eye out on it. The anemone seems to be moving much less now. I mean, it's happy in its little pillar, but we'll have to watch out for those pesky hammers. Probably we'll actually keep it on the sand bed until they're cut down, come to think of it. Luckily, it's a really fast growing Ghani, so really should have no issues growing back to its original size, although I'm still very angered by this. It's very upsetting. Overall, still a lot of work to do until I'm fully happy with the coral layout, but I feel like we have made some improvement here. The tank is looking much less messy. I mean, kind of. I'm working on it, okay? It will come together soon, hopefully. Promise, one of these days. In addition to rearranging my coral layout, I also tackled a very exciting project that I have wanted to do for a while now. I revamped my lighting, y'all. I revamped my lighting. I removed the lighting bar and placed these sexy light shades over my Radeon XR30s. Honestly, I am absolutely in love with the new look. I think it really transforms the tank and makes it feel like it's part of the house rather than just a really big fish tank, It just looks plain old sophisticated. I mean, if you can look past the cables hanging there because it's not finished, it just looks sexy, It just looks sexy. I initially had a totally different idea for this though. I really like the idea of having like a floating canopy above the tank, like this big rectangular box of some sort hanging down from the ceiling with the Radeons actually fitted into it, but that seemed Pretty difficult for me to build. I mean, I'm not really handy. I'm not a handy person and definitely not much of a builder, to say the least. So then this idea popped into my head to just place the radions in regular lighting fixtures. And voila, here we have this beautiful, this beautiful look. And I'm just really loving it. I'm obsessed. Plus, as a huge bonus, it's made working on the tank so much easier because I have way more room now, which is awesome. However, it is obviously not finished though. Those cables hanging down are just an absolute eyesore. I know. I've tossed around how to hide them for over a week now, and I'm really not sure what the best and easiest way to go about this is. Would appreciate any suggestions y'all may have. It's just difficult because radions have that big box that you have to accommodate for, and I want to be able to access them. Mobius can be a pain sometimes, and I really want the ability to manually reset them myself if I have to. So kind of in a pickle. I mean, I tossed up the idea of wiring it through the ceiling, which is obviously the best solution, but the extension cables you can buy for the radions are only 3 meters. I mean, what? It's almost nothing if I'm trying to run this entire thing through the ceiling and down the wall. So my idea as of now is just to run the cables back behind the tank, like run the cables through the wall and then back out to plug into my stand. It's not perfect because you can see them running to the wall if you're looking at the tank from like the side, but looking at the tank straight on, they would be hidden. And I don't know. I mean, who looks at their tank all that much from the side anyway? I mean, at least I certainly don't. So it may just work. Let me know if y'all have any better solutions for me and what you guys think. Also, let me know if you want to see a video where I break down how I actually did this. It was a pretty cool project for me, and I have to say I love my tank so much more for it. I mean, look past the cables for 1 second. Just 1 second. Isn't it sexy? It's just sexy. I cannot wait for how this is going to turn out. So yeah, that's what's been going on with my 220-gallon tank build. Made some progress with the coral layout and made the tank look a whole lot sexier with some new light fixtures. Let me know what you guys think of the changes. I feel like this tank is going to end up being a hit, y'all. I just wait on it. Just wait on it.